Hey everyone, it's your average chess player here. Today we are going to look at this endgame position. I've been doing an endgame series on my channel. I'm just continuing that, and I came across this position. It's White's turn to play, and we have to figure out if this position is a win or a draw, and how can White win this, if at all. Feel free to pause the video in this at this time and try to figure out the solution by yourself. If you think you found the solution, feel free to skip to the solution part of the video. I'll leave timestamps in the description and you can go check that out. And if you find that the move that you thought was winning wasn't, then you could always come back and watch the rest of the video to see how I solved this position and what was my thought process and what mistakes that I did and how did I arrive at the right solution. I'll leave timestamps for all the different parts in the video in the description, so you can skip to any part that you feel like. So let's start. Um this position is a bit of a bit complicated at the start because we have these three disconnected pawns, out of which one is attacked by the black king. And as white, we have this pawn that we can queen. This pawn is a bit far away. This all the queening squares that we have for all these pawns are all covered by the bishop. So we have a bunch of problems that we need to solve. So let's jump right into it. Typically in positions like this, whenever you have like two pawns on different sides of the board and the opponent has a bishop, and if both the pawns if the queening square is the same color, like then and the bishop is like these, in this case it's like dark squared queening squares, and we have a dark squared bishop with the opponent. Typically the tactic here is to queen one pawn and like divert or deflect the piece into that, or force the piece into that square, and then queen on the other square. So that is usually the theme that happens in these kind of positions. So we're gonna keep that in mind when we solve this and see if there's a sequence that we can force like that. um and like right off the bat, a move like b3 or b4 is not gonna work, because b3 king takes b5, this pawn is gone, and then black can play bishop d4 and control this pawn, and there's nothing much we can do there. So that is not there, and a move like h7, black can play bishop d4 again and now attack this pawn and control the square, and you try to chase the bishop away, like bishop takes b2, and this is still gone, and black will play king b5 next move, and it's a draw. So none of these pawn moves work, and in both these sequences that we just saw, after king b5, and now black will play bishop d4 to control prevent this pawn from queening. And even in the variation with just h7, we saw that black plays bishop d4 to prevent the pawn from queening. This immediately led me to the fact that, oh, I need to just take this square away from the bishop. That's it, right? Like, so I played king e4, and now there's no bishop d4, and I was like, okay, now how are you preventing this pawn from queening? I can just play h7 and then h8 queens. The best defense for black that I could see was the move bishop to d8. Anything else, like if you try, there's nothing else to try really, because bishop to d8 is the only move which black can now threaten to play bishop f6 and take control of this diagonal, because all the other squares so far are controlled by the white pieces. So f6 is the only square that is left, and from b6, that is the d8 is the only square that the bishop can go to take control of this, to arrive at that square. And now here, I first thought of the move king e5, and the reason for king e5 was I wanted to take control of the f6 square, and also like I didn't want to play king f5 and black to play bishop b6 again, because then I have to play king e4, and black would again play bishop b6 because to come to d4. So I didn't want that, so that's why I played king e5, having a control on both these pawns, sorry, both these squares. um, Here I realized, as much as I thought I'm gonna win, like after something like king takes b5, I just play h7, I will win. Black has this resource which it took me a while to see. Like I was literally trying out all the legal moves that black has in this position to see if there's any resource at all. And then I was intrigued by the move bishop g5, because one, it is attacking this pawn, and in which case white cannot move the king or the other pawns, and is forced to play h7. So it's a forcing move, which is why I wanted to check bishop g5. And then I had this nice move of bishop to c1. Now, if you queen, black is just threatening to take on b2 with a skewer. You move, I take the queen, and then I capture this pawn on the next move, and it's a draw. So this is a nice tactical defensive resource for black, which I obviously did not see at the start of the position. But when I was, like I said, going through all the legal moves, I realized, oh, this is a forcing sequence of moves. What can I do from here? And then I landed up on bishop c1. So king e5 here just does not work, which is what I realized. So then I started to think, okay, what else can I do here, right? If I play king f5, which is the move I want to play, just to queen, black plays b6, bishop b6, and it's irritating. There's no other way for me to now convert this position. Then I was like just looking at all the legal moves that I have, which is what I do in endgame positions like this, just to see what move makes sense. So king f5, we saw that. I thought like, okay, king e4, black can now even just take this pawn, and there's not much we can do now. Bishop f6 is coming soon, and if I play something like this, again bishop b6, it's not helping. So king moves, none of the king moves made any more sense. Again, something like king f4, you can take, you can just play bishop f6, you can do a bunch of things, and again, moving this pawn is not going to help. H7, we know bishop f6. So I literally eliminated all the moves except one, which was b6. And then I realized this actually kind of solves my problems, which I did not realize. Then it turns out to be a brilliant move, this position, which I had no idea. The reason is, if bishop takes b6, black no longer controls f6, so I can just play h7 and queen on my next move, and bishop d4 is not possible because king is controlling the square. I was like, okay, so it solves for bishop takes b6. What about king takes b6? What about that? And now I realize, oh, king takes b6 is even better, because now I can actually play king f5 because I don't have this nagging threat of bishop b6, and I've taken control of this f6 square, and now I can queen in 2 moves. And there's nothing much black can do. You probably have to give up your bishop, and at this point I'm winning anyway. I was like, wow, bishop, the move b6 is so powerful. Like, it doesn't seem like an obvious move in this position. You'd be more inclined to move your king and even play something like king e5, but then we saw bishop g5 was drawing the game. And then here I was like, okay, so if b6 doesn't, if capture is not an option, and if you play something like bishop f6, then I play b7, and this is winning. And like, black can no longer control this queening square and this queening square at the same time. Then I was like, okay, maybe king a6. Let's try king a6. Preventing the pawn from advancing further, which is the other threat we had with b6. And at the same time, still controlling the f6 square. And now here's where my previous move came handy, which was just king e5. Where I'm now, king e5 now, I thought, okay, king e5, bishop f6, and and there's no d4 here already. So bishop f6, I'm preventing, and now I'm threatening h4, h7 and queens. So like, okay, I made some progress here, and so far it's not a draw. But you will ask me the question, hey, bishop g5, doesn't it work still? And this is the variation I calculated. So h7, I was like bishop c1, it's the same thing. Obviously, I can't play queens here because that is a draw, so I can't do that. Now, what else do I have here? And again, I went through the legal moves, which like I wanted to see what made sense. b7 is out of option, h7 is out of option. um, like moving this pawn like b4 is again is not gonna help. Like you can take here, you can play bishop b2 check and then take here, and then this pawn you can, it's a draw, right? So after bishop c1, I was like, okay, maybe it's time to actually move my king. And where do I move my king? If I play king f6, bishop takes b2, it's again a problem. If I move to any square, bishop takes b2 is again a problem. With this, there's no clear way. The only plan that I could think of in this position was the fact that I should probably pivot and try to queen this pawn, and at the cost of giving up this pawn. This, I will lose this pawn only if I queen it. As long as it's a light square, it can't be touched. So I was like, okay, maybe I play king d6, king c7, and queen this pawn, and try to see what happens. So I played king d6. I was like, I'll get closer to my pawn, and let's say bishop takes b2, king c7. I am two moves away from queening. Black can give a check, and here I need to stick around with my pawn. So I play king c6, and black can play n number of moves. I'm gonna go with the move bishop d4, just because threatening to capture this pawn. Eventually, like not right now. Like if I play king c7, you not king c7. I can't play anything here, except b7. But if I move anything like this, you can just play king b6 if you want to. But then you lose the bishop, and I'm trying to show that bishop e5 is fine. But anyways, here let's say b7, and then black can only play king a7. Black can play a move like bishop to e5. This is where the tactic, the defensive resource, or you could say deflection, decoy, whatever you want to call it, comes into play, where I queen on one side, like b8 queens, black is forced to take, and then I queen on the other side and get my queen. So that tactic would come into play here. So like, let's say black delays it by king a7, and I play king c7, and now black can play bishop e5 check, king c8, and we reach a position where black is in the same spot. It was just delaying with the additional set of moves. Now like a move like king b6, because black cannot move the bishop, because so both the squares have to be kept in check. I can just now queen this pawn, you take, and then I queen this side, and this is a winning endgame for white. You can, the main aim is to just probably fork the black king and bishop, or just try to like pin it and try to win it. That's pretty much it. And a simple thumb rule: just keep all your pieces on light squares. That's it. Especially your king, just keep it on a light square. Move your queen around, get some advantage, and just keep moving on the light squares, and you would never blunder anything. Literally, like there's no way. And that's the end game. Let's just summarize the solution. So for those who skip to this part, white has to play the move king e4 in order to prevent black from playing bishop d4, controlling the h8 square, and that's the reasoning behind that. Black can now play the move bishop d8, still threatening to get on this diagonal via f6, because every other square is controlled by a white piece. Here the move king e5 is a draw, for the reasons I showed in the video, and the winning move here is the astounding b6. And the reason being, like, white is now forcing either the black king or the bishop to capture this pawn, or just move the king ahead. Capturing the pawn on b6 with the bishop would mean the bishop does not see f6 anymore, so h7 and h8 queens is possible. And if king takes b6, white can simply play king f5, and the black bishop has no way to get on this diagonal, because b6 is also taken away. In this position, if king a6, then we have this nice move king e5, keeping a check on the f6 square, and also on the d4 square if necessary. Black has this nice resource with bishop g5, attacking this pawn, so we're forced to move it, and then black swings the bishop all the way here, threatening bishop takes b2 with h7 queening. And here we need to make a choice of playing the king to d6, giving up this pawn, but then going on to the queen side to queen this pawn instead. black can play bishop e5 check after king c6, something like bishop d4, b7, king a7, king c7, bishop e5 check, king to c8. Black is in a zugzwang. No matter what black plays is going to be losing. King b6, we can queen the pawn on the b file, force the black's bishop to leave the guarding of the h8 square, and then queen the other pawn, and then this is a winning endgame for white. What a nice little endgame. You have to just like go through a series of moves based on the what plan black has and what defensive resources, and then go around trying to find the best moves and eventually put black in a kind of a state of zugzwang. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.